We can see it.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. So hi again. I'm going to provide an overview of customer insights. My name is Tricia Sinclair, and I am a D365 pre-sale solutions consultant from DXC Technology. Um, I specialize in, well, to be honest, customer data platforms, business applications, and Azure DevOps. So if you do want to reach out to me for any of those reasons, these are my social details. I mainly blog about DevOps and omnichannel, but I will be blogging a bit more about customer insights in the next year. So please follow me on any of these socials. So if you've got any questions during the presentation, please feel free to stop me and ask, or ping them in the chat window and we can get to them at the end. Totally happy to do that. Okay, I kind of like an interactive discussion. The focus of today is really about an overview of customer insights, and the demo that I'm going to be doing is really tailored towards the financial sector. But I'm going to be explaining and providing other ideas as to where customer insights could be used and how it could be used as well. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about the customer data platform. What exactly is it? How is it different to CRM and traditional analytic tools? And then we're going to be going into customer insights and then providing a product demonstration and also then providing a recap. By the way, can you see me? I should share my video. Let me share my video so you can, you can actually see who I am as I talk. It will help. There you go. Yay. Hi, everyone. Okay, let's continue. Cool. So, and then we'll finally recap. So, moving on. Let's start with the traditional CRM model. So, hopefully we're all familiar with CRM, dynamic CRM per se, made up of several different modules, and each of these modules kind of serving a different purpose. So you've got sales, customer service, marketing, and field service. Now, what it does do is it stores first-party data. So for example, it's going to store my sales, my opportunities, my leads. It's going to store like my case management information, the different cases, etc., my work orders, all that stuff. That's what it's storing. What it's not storing is other information with regards to, like I visited a bank today, or I, went into the store, or my visits, or, I've done this on, so it's not storing that. Now, when we talk about traditional CRM, as a pre-sales consultant, I do tend to say, oh, CRM, it gives you that true 360-degree view of your customer. But does it really do that if you don't have the data in your system? It doesn't. That requires you to integrate that data for you to then have that true 360-degree view. So it's not a true CRM is not a true, it's not going to give you a true representation of a holistic view of your customer. Okay. It's going to give you some information. It's going to give you like what you have in the system. Okay. Now, but it's not going to give you that unified customer profile view that you're looking for. It's also not going to contain all the different sources of information, because invariably in a company, you do have other systems. You've got your core banking systems, you've got your other marketing system. You could have, for example, Marketo, not D365 marketing. So these are different systems. If you don't have it integrated in Dynamics, you're missing out on information or metrics that you could then use to enhance your business, right? So that's traditional CRM. Traditional CRM, first-party information. It stores a limited amount unless you've got it integrated to other systems and you're pulling data into CRM. Now, the tricky thing with that is, of course, we have to consider that with CRM, you pay for your storage. So the more data that you have in CRM, you're paying for that. So it's probably not advisable to bring everything into CRM. On top of that, it's actually not meant for that, okay? So how do we actually solve that problem? Because most companies, if not all, want that true customer 360. They want to know everything about their customer, and I can't blame them. You want to know this so you can improve your services towards them. You want to improve your offers, and you want to improve your company as well. So getting that true representation of your customer, that 360-degree view, is important. So how do we get there? Right? We've got different types of data, first of all, that we need to factor in. Behavioral, such as, how long have I actually been with a particular company? Do I prefer this to that? You've also got transactional. You've got the different your web visits, your purchases, your applications or quotations, etc. But you've also got your demographic data, such as obviously your location, your gender, who you are as an individual, right? That can then be used to identify trends of grouping for your particular demographic. So from that, we can then do customer profiling. We can understand holistically the different behavior between groups of people that are in your particular demographic. And we can then tailor our different services for people that are like you. So that's going to apply for marketing, sales, and service, improving each of those different areas. You've also got the ability to create that unique buyer journey, because we can now say, well, we know that if you do this, more than likely, that means that these are your next best actions, right? But we won't be able to get there if we don't have the necessary information. We can then take it further, because we've now got that data to add on top of that machine learning. Okay, so what does this mean? And what do I mean by a customer data platform? Now, customer data platform is effectively where we can centralize data and bring in data from different systems and different sources into one space, and then that allows us to do all of this. It allows us to profile, analyze, and get insights from that data by bringing them in to one area, into one source. Okay, so that is effectively the customer data platform, and that exactly is what Customer Insights provides, right? So Customer Insights is Microsoft's customer data platform that has been built to allow us to get that holistic view of customers. Then we can use that to get insights, analyze the data, and then act upon it. Okay, we can then even extend it using machine learning or artificial intelligence, so we can then improve our services to customers. Okay, and because it's actually built on top of Microsoft Azure, we can then leverage all the different security features that are already there. So we don't have to then build it all ourselves. Because to be honest, if we look at it, if we are going to do what Customer Insights already does, you're going to have a lot of man hours and manpower, and it's going to be very expensive, because you've got to factor in security, you've got to factor in the different data sources, it's going to be a lot of code, and especially trying to make sure that it can tackle all the data sources. It's a lot. Okay, so effectively how I see Customer Insights, it's a low-code data platform, right? I don't have to do the work because it's already been done for me. Okay, so looking at it from getting the data in to acting on it, obviously we can get different data from different sources, internal or external, things like LinkedIn or visits or events, loyalty cards, etc., or even like my actual data that I've got in the system already, my point of sales transactions, bringing it in to ingest it, identify the different matching rules, match that data, merge it, and then enrich it using the demographic data that we've got. We can then use that to get insights using different analytics tools, Power BI, or even within Customer Insights itself to identify trends, and then build on top of that with machine learning models. Okay, we can then leverage the Power Platform to then access that data, access the insights that we've built, and then improve based upon the different channels of engagement that we've already got. Okay, so that's pretty much what Customer Insights in a nutshell really allows us to do. So if we just recap on that, Customer Insight, how is that different from traditional customer analytics? Well, with traditional analytics, so for example, like your Power BI, your data warehouse data, in your data lakes, this is typically something that you need to sit down, you need to understand what the customer is asking for. It's going to take a lot of time because you need to understand all the different data sources. It's going to probably take a while to implement. It does require you to have knowledge of those different areas. I need to know how to build a data lake, data warehouse, Power BI. I need to understand all of that, right? On top of that, compliance, which is kind of like your security, ensuring that depending on the rules of the business, for some reason, it's something that is often thought of towards the end of a project, and then invariably you run back to fix things. It really depends on the industry and the company that you're in. Then you've also got customer insights, and versus you've got customer insights. Now with customer insights, it is a complete software as a solution service that is already built on top of proven technology. Okay, so it's built on top of a very secure network provided by Microsoft. They take care of the servers, they take care of the security, which means that you don't have to invest in that. You're investing in that complete product. Okay, it's basically a low-code solution, which means that, again, the only requirement for you is that you need to understand the data. So if you understand your data, you can configure customer insights. You don't need to understand data warehouse or data lakes because you're not exposed to that. Okay. So the time to implement this is much, much quicker. Okay, and you can then get value from it, improving your return on investment. Okay, so once we've actually brought all this data in together, that then allows us to analyze our data using native connectors that we've got with the Power Platform, such as Power BI, where we can utilize the connector to then get reports and build our own custom reports. We can then utilize the standard connector that's also available in Power Apps to then create Power Apps, and I'm going to be giving you some examples of where we've done this. So you can also use a native connector that's available through Power BI, Power Automate, to then generate different alerts. Now, the alert to the connector that you've got in Power BI is mainly around, it allows you to access the different entities, etc. And I'm going to be giving you an example of where I have created a Power. So what I've done is I've created some segments, and we're going to be going into this. I've created some segments inside of my customer insights environment, pull the data in, and I'm going to be showing you where I've done that. And those segments are basically my different offerings, right? So I, as a retail bank, want to, provide some offers, some preferential rates to special customers of mine, right? And I've created that. Now, my customer is then going to go to my portal, and they're going to interact with me using Power Virtual Agent, which is then going to call my Power Automate flow, interact directly with customer insights, identify that I am a part of a particular segment, and bring back that offer to me. I will then have the option of opting into that offer or not. I will choose, however, to escalate it to an agent, and using Omnichannel Engagement Hub, I'll be able to see the data that's been pulled in from customer insights, allowing me to have a more personalized conversation with that agent. I'm going to create an appointment. I'm going to set an appointment. That appointment, it means that I need to go into the bank or the branch. I'm then going to open my Power App, which is also my meet and greet application, and I'll be able to use the Power App connector in that to not only see the list of customers, but I'll be able to select my customer that is now coming into the bank and see his list of transactions and his most recent appointments, etc. I'm also going to be able to see the offers that he has available that's been pulled in from the segments. Then we're also going to be looking at the Power BI dashboard. That's also making use of the connector as well. So those are the different areas that we're going to be jumping into. And as I mentioned before, it's mainly focused around an example of how it could be used in the finance industry. Any questions before I jump into the demo? Okay, cool. So if we start off from here. So let's start off from the customer screen. Now, this is my Customer Insights homepage. Well, my Customer Insights customer page. Now, the Customer Insights customer page just basically shows me the list of customers that are available that's been grouped together. And if I go into one of them, you'll actually see all the information that's been pulled for my particular customer record. Okay. I do have some, based on because of my location, my Wi-Fi is not exactly the best. So we'll wait for it to load. Perfect. Okay, so having a look at this is effectively an example of the customer information that's being pulled. This information has been brought together from different data sources, a core banking system, my CRM system, my telephone system. Okay, but from that, I can actually get information, standard information about my customer, demographic information, their location, etc. I can get transactional information. For example, I know that they've had one phone call, but they've logged 6 cases. And if they had banking transactions as well, it would appear here. And I've also enriched my data to identify their affiliations, their potential interests or their potential brands based upon the information and what we've got about this customer. Okay, now if I go back. Yeah. Okay, so where is this information coming from? This information is coming because, as I mentioned, I brought this in from different data sources, namely this. Now, the data sources utilize connectors. So the connectors are very similar to the Power Automate connectors. In fact, it's actually built by the same team. However, it's actually a subset of the connectors that's available within Power Automate. So not all the connectors that you've got in Power Automate will be available here. It's a subset. However, if you do find a data source that's missing, if you let the team know, they will evaluate it and they could potentially add it into the next release because this list has grown since the first time Customer Insights was launched. Okay, so what I've done is I've basically utilized the CDS connector, I've utilized the OData connector, and I've also utilized the Excel connector to bring that information in. But effectively, it's mimicking the different types of data that you could actually get. Right? At the moment, you can't build your own custom connector. That's another important thing to note. So another really useful thing is when you group all this information together, it creates two standard system tables by default. One is the customer table, which we're looking at now, with all the list of fields that we've used to create that customer table. So if I have a customer record in, for example, my core banking system, another customer record in my finance and operations system, and another customer record in my CRM system, what will then happen is one table will be generated with all the information made up of what's available there. You do need to specify a master record, and that's basically what's going to be saved, right? But if you wanted to see both the fields, like have both fields visible, you can also specify the settings to show that. But why have I actually brought you here? I've brought you here because on top of that, you can actually see the quality of your data in effect. For example, if you're expecting everything to be populated, if I go here, for example, I'm expecting everyone to have a last name, right? And in fact, they mostly do. I think there's just one missing, and that's fine. But you can actually see one, if there is any data missing, and you can actually see top values. So if I actually go to state, for example, you can actually see some KPIs or some standard charts available per field that you've got here. You can also then here leverage one of the different features, which is prediction, which is under the intelligence area of Customer Insights. I won't be able to demo this because this is only available in a production instance of Customer Insights. and we'll be talking about the licensing implication at the end of it, and you'll understand why I only have a trial right now, okay? So if we then move on to creating the segment, so another thing that you can actually do within customer insights is to then utilize the data that you've taken, for example, your transactional data, your demographic data, the behavioral data, and then you can actually create different segments. Now, if you're using marketing, you might be familiar with this term because a segment is effectively a grouping of information, a grouping of records based upon criteria. So I mentioned that I wanted to demonstrate the preferential, like customers, where I wanted to offer them preferential rates. So I've created 2 segments. I can now push these segments as a marketing list or as a segment into Dynamics 365. If you have marketing, if you have D365 marketing, it will be pushed in as a segment. If you don't, it'll be pushed in as a marketing list, okay? But you'll then have visibility of it on your home page, okay? Now, I mentioned exporting the data to D365, but you can also export it to blobs or LiveRamp as well, should you choose to, and then take it further. Or you can actually export it directly using Excel, but that's not available in the destination area. Okay. So let's actually go in now to the portal and we'll start on how we can leverage the different components of the Power Platform to take advantage of these features. So let's start off with a chat. Whilst this chat comes up, I'll also let you know some of the questions I've been asked is, one, is there an ALM process for customer insights? The answer is it's coming. You do have the availability right now to create, to utilize the web API to deploy customer insights to another environment, but it's not it's not the same thing as, using the standard Azure DevOps functionality, where you've already got the tooling. You've just right now got the APIs that are available that you can leverage to do that. But the actual standardization that is coming. Okay, so are there any new? Here, what I'm doing is I'm interacting with the Power Virtual Agent, and now I'm going to check if there are any new offers. Got the queue wrong, but that's fine. I'm going to say it's a new offer. Great. So now it needs my details. So I'm going to say Nicholas and James. Now it's reaching out to customer insight. It's checking into the segment. So I mentioned this segment. So Nicholas James will be in one of these segments. It's pulling away to see which segment I'm in, or even if I'm not in a segment. If I'm not, it will just tell me no new offers. But if I'm found in a segment, it will give me that segment or multiple segments that I'm involved in. Okay, so if I wanted to speak with an agent, I can now say yes. Now, bear in mind, the only thing it knows about me is that I'm Nicholas James and I'm eligible for a preferential customer loan. Now it's passing me through to the agent, and that agent is going to now know, first of all, that I'm interested in the preferential rate, but also what my average spend and my total spend is. And it's pulling that from my customer profile that's been grouped together based on transactional data that's associated to me as a customer. Okay, so here, if I basically associate it with Nicholas James, right? There. And then I could actually just create a new appointment. Now, when I create a new appointment, this can then be, because this again is transactional data, this will then flow back into customer insights and be picked up by my Power App allowing me to then have the meet and greet person that you normally have at the front of the bank saying, hi, welcome to such and such bank. How can I help you? And then they have the, the tablets that they always have. Yeah, that could be a power app that they could then leverage this information to greet you as a customer, see your transactions, see the appointments that you've actually got. And the thing is, the beauty about it is, remember, the transactions are not necessarily just in CRM. It is all the transactions that you've got, and then they can filter with it as well. So if I go here and have a look at the meet and greet app. So this is an example of the app that we've built, and I'm just looking for Nicholas because Nicholas is the one that we've brought. You can see that we've got the list of activities here. If I click on Nicholas Jacobs as an example, I can see his the list of his transactions, but I can also see that he does have he has an offer for a platinum card because he's been found in one of my segments. Okay, so if someone's checking in, I can actually see what offers they've got, so then I can act upon that and make a sale. Okay, alternatively, I can see, his history. If they've got an issue, I can then drill into it and a bit further to understand what might be happening. Okay, but we're here about Nicholas James. So here, Nicholas, you can see that he has an appointment today. It's a preferential customer loan follow-up, and now I'm going to guide him to the relevant counter. Okay, so you can build this much further out. I mean, we have got plans to build this further out, but this is just an example of how the Power Platform can be leveraged. Because so far we've used Power Automate, we've used Power Virtual Agent, Omnichannel, and Power Apps, all pulling together with Customer Insights. Now, Customer Insights also does have a D365 sales app or solution that will allow you to embed the timeline and the customer profile card inside of Dynamics already. So it does have that, but I left that out on purpose because a lot of customers and a lot of people associate Customer Insights with Dynamics, and that's not necessarily the case. You do not need CRM for Customer Insights. It is not a CRM system, and it is not tied to CRM. You can just leverage CRM with it. Okay. The other thing as well is, of course, utilizing Power BI. So this is a dashboard that we've created utilizing the information that's already available within Customer Insights. And we can then ask questions using natural language query, such as customer. Yeah, so basically we can utilize natural language query, which is basically standard Power BI functionality, but it really just allows you to take advantage of that to dynamically draw up cards that from data that is being pulled from Customer Insights. Okay, so to tie it up, we talked about the possibilities within finance, and that was what the demo was really related to. But if we look at it further, we could identify overdue payments, because if you've got like different departments, for example, insurance, loan, credit card, etc., and you're overdue in one, then the other department may not know. Now you have one streamlined area where it doesn't really matter where you're calling in that business. Everyone has access to truly the same data. We can also do memberships as well, because now we can have that overview of your different memberships, right? And provide better offers for you. We can then identify your next best action, because we can build on top with machine learning to understand what other people in your situation, your demographic, they do and that they find favorable. So that was probably going to be something that you might find valuable as well. With manufacturing, of course, we can then leverage this with demand forecasting, e-commerce. We can streamline our production, and we can, of course, improve our customer service and also our response times. Okay, again, with public sector, I have one example here where you might have a, sad to say, but if you're in a situation where you're in public sector and you work with children and a complaint is made about one of your child's, or you make a complaint because you notice one of somebody's being mistreated, and that family then moves away. Sometimes sometimes the history of that gets lost, and then when a new complaint is made at the new school, it's treated like a first time offense when it's really not. There's a trend, but it's hard to identify that trend because the systems aren't truly joined up. And that's where there is that opportunity for public sector, identifying vulnerable people, identifying the trend. So it's not easy, but it's quicker to resolve, okay, before it goes down too far another path, right? We can also detect fraud, or share data better between the different councils. But of course, I think a lot of people associate customer insights with just retail, where because it's easy to then identify the spending habits because we're able to pull information from the web shop or from the on the street shop. But as I hopefully have shown, customer insights is not just about retail. Customer insights is not just a CRM, it's not a CRM system, right? It's basically a customer data platform that can leverage it's across all the different industries, and it can leverage all the different data sources to pull this information together. So hopefully that's what I've shown in this demo. So when we talk about pricing, customer insights is priced per tenant per month. Okay, so it's not per user, it is per tenant. And because of that, I think you'll actually get a lot of benefits from that because you can create your different environments within that tenant. So if you've got one environment, one customer insights environment for your marketing team, another for sales and service, that is totally possible. But that's the standard pricing for it. Do we have any questions on that? Hello?
Hi, Tricia. Yeah. No questions so far.
Okay, great. If you've got any questions with regards to customer insights or want to know more, please do grab me. These are my socials, and yeah, I will be around. Thanks all. Bye.
Thank you, Tricia. Hello, everybody. So does anybody have any questions related to customer insights or any other types of questions? We've got another 30 minutes before our next session. So it'll be an interesting time to ask any additional questions, really, related to any of the subject matters that we've covered today, or if there's other scenarios that you are pondering on, feel free to ask in the chat window. The next session is on sales insights and the sales accelerator. So that's obviously going to begin in 25 minutes with Ashish. Many thanks to Tricia, Alan, thanking Tricia, Philip Cole, Ambesh, Arya, and Auntie. Yep. So So whilst we're waiting for the next session to begin, let's discuss our forthcoming events. So Auntie is on the line. Antti will be organising project service automation Saturday, PSA Saturday, alongside project management and agile Saturday. So again, he's on the line. The date. So let me share my screen with you all. So the events that I have passed have been Power BI Saturday. That was 2 weeks ago. Hello. Somebody asking a question? Okay, that's fine. So there was Empower Your Career that was organised by Victor. That was a very large event, and then we had Power BI Saturday, and then obviously today we've touched base on the customer engagement side of things, but we want to go a lot deeper. So the following week will be Power Apps Saturday, covering both Canvas apps and model-driven apps, followed by Automation Saturday, which is primarily Power Automate. From these sessions, you would have noticed that Power Automate has been used extensively, whether you're using customer services, whether you're using customer agents, virtual agents. Power Automate is a vital key ingredient for customizing and providing those integrations. From the sessions today, we also know that Microsoft's replacing its native SLA workflows with Power Automate as well. So it's highly essential for you to all be familiar with and to start learning Power Automate, because that is the essential glue to the Power Platform, to Dynamics 365, and to all the residing applications, as well as external applications. So that's going to be a large event, as you can see already. We've got a lot of sessions already scheduled. We've got Antti obviously covering Power Automate in his scenarios. I know he's covered some really good scenarios using it in PSA and in those kinds of scenarios, which are really good, as well as sessions related to integrating it with portals, replacing a lot of the existing plugins with Power Automate. You've already heard from Otto today, but we have Eliza. Eliza's runs a really popular blog, and her hashtag is WTF, what the flow. She's been covering flow extensively. Then we've also got custom connectors. So custom connectors obviously provide the ability to connect custom applications and APIs with flow, and constructing those custom connectors is going to be really useful to connect your Power Apps and other applications with flow. John Liu is he is one of the most advanced Power Automate developers out there. He's built several third-party utilities to help enhance the Power Automate features with Flow Studio, and he's got a really impressive session on building websites with Flow. And then you've got Kent Ware again, and this time it's around UI flows. UI flows are building flows that interact with your third-party applications, scraping data as part of the processes, and it's a very emerging piece of functionality as well as technology that's currently taking place. The UI flows as part of robotic process automation to ensure all processes are highly integrated within the applications. Now Ritika again is covering custom connectors, and then you got Ryan showcasing how to build custom HTML tables with Power Automate, which is very useful in generating data from parsing data objects through one another into a HTML table and rendering it out, which is very useful. Serge Luca, also known as Dr. Flow, has got a great session on patterns and design patterns for Power Automate. there are many ways of constructing flows to solve problems, and Serge does a really good job of showcasing the different variations. Sharon is also from the UK. She covers many really good at showcasing flow again in connecting disparate systems. In this one, she's using it as a way of building a learning system within teams. Stefano is covering something not with flow, but more with automating blockchain workflows, which is one of his areas of expertise. And Thomas Positek, who is one of the most prolific bloggers and MVPs on flows. Adaptive cards we've seen a few times today, and really you really want to leverage. I mean, for me personally, adaptive cards are what I'm the most excited about personally, and essentially that's something that all organizations can highly benefit from. And essentially you need to use being able to use flow to leverage on adaptive cards is a no-brainer really. And then you've got Yash, who has really used flow to really solve some interesting scenarios, and in these sessions he's going to be addressing how to use flow with deployments in Azure. So there's so many scenarios to be covered really, and what we want you to do is use this as an opportunity to raise the types of topics that you want us to address. If there's any questions, any challenges, please share them with us. In addition, Business Central. So quick question, everyone who is on this call, I'd be interested to know how many of you are using applications outside of Dynamics customer engagement, such as FinOps and Business Central. Please feel free to share any other applications that you're currently involved with, because often there's not really much content out there for FinOps and for Business Central, and so okay, FinOps and talent, fantastic. Okay, well, the good news is that obviously we will be having FinOps Saturday, which is going to be really good. It's probably one of the first online free events for FinOps that's ever taken place, as far as I'm aware. And we're covering FinOps extensively. Now, usually the FinOps sessions can be quite technical, so we've ensured there's many functional sessions included within FinOps. So, out of curiosity, to Angus, who's asking regarding FinOps, you've mentioned talent as well. As you know, there's a lot of changes have happened with the talent solution. Yeah, so that's an interesting one really. Now that Microsoft has re-architected the talent solution, but essentially there is talent modules within FinOps already, and Aya has mentioned about marketing. Okay, so in terms of Dynamics marketing, are you interested purely in Dynamics marketing or marketing solutions in general? And also, what aspects of Dynamics marketing are you interested in? Are you interested in the features or in how to implement it, the technical challenges? I'd be very interested to know, because I've completed several marketing implementations, both with Dynamics marketing or with other solutions, and they all have fair challenges themselves. Really, different types of challenges with regards to implementation approaches, user adoption, and really to understand, well, what aspect of marketing. So it's best practice. Okay. So basically, and what I can tell you right now, Arya, is that when it comes to Dynamics marketing, one of the biggest challenges you're going to have is really is on how you actually go about building your customer journeys and deploying them. Yeah, your artifacts that you build in your marketing campaigns is, I would say, the biggest challenge for marketers out there. Although Dynamics marketing is a powerful tool, for example, the customer journeys and the customer segments are quite powerful. Being able to build a very complex long journey often requires to build multiple customer journeys and then chaining them together to be able to support very complex logic scenarios. And that's one thing, but then obviously having to deploy them artifacts requires you to have to deploy those components into production. And again, it's something which often is often overlooked within marketing implementations. And so that's something I'm more than happy to cover as regarding best practices of email templates and customer journeys and segmentations. Obviously, you've got landing pages as well. And you've got content such as media content. And again, one best practice I can tell you regarding media content that's uploaded is that Dynamics Marketing natively includes a media entity, allowing you to upload your media content. Personally, I wouldn't recommend using that media content. I'd recommend using another repository such as a website host to host your web media content, and just use the references inside your campaigns, because otherwise you would then have to start deploying each of the artifacts across the environment. So if you have lots of images within your email marketing campaigns, well, imagine you have many environments you have to deploy them across. Well, the URL will be different for each one. And so that's not very clear. It's an often big mistake that people make is, okay, well, is to use that. My personal advice is you don't really use that unless all your artifacts and all your campaigns are being built in production. Then I wouldn't really recommend to use the out of the box blob storage for uploading the marketing artifacts such as emails, email contents, and things like that. I would recommend hosting it on your web server and keeping that content consistent across all your environments, so you don't have problems with deployments and so on and so forth. Question by Angus. Here we go. Apart from cost, are there many differences between D365 marketing, click dimensions? Well, there are. Look, there are differences. There are functional differences between the two. In the way you create, even the way you create customer journeys is a very different experience. And there are benefits and strengths and weaknesses in one on the other. Obviously, Click Dimensions is a mature product, but then again, there's many native features you get with inside, and like I said, you mentioned about licensing. There are licensing differences with the Dynamics Marketing app. So in short, there are strengths and weaknesses between the two. Some products are probably more mature than the other, but it depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it purely for email campaigns, then and landing pages, then Dynamics Marketing obviously is quite strong there, and it's quite strong in actually building your segments, and it's quite good in building out your segments as well. But with Click Dimensions, you've got that social media integration, which is a bit more superior, I would say, and a bit more friendlier to use to some extent. And as someone mentions, here you go. Yep. So you mentioned something about, yeah. So you're right. Click Dimensions is more social media friendly, whereas Dynamics Marketing has obviously the portals, the event management side of things is baked in, as well as you can also get obviously it's useful obviously when you get the LinkedIn Navigator integrations. So yeah, so it's so I guess I guess it's about what you want to use marketing for. You can't just pick a product off the shelf and say I want to use it to complete all my tasks. It's all about what do you want to achieve, what is your marketing strategy, and then obviously select the solution from there. Yes. So again, it's not always a blunt answer, and often it can be the case where we are very tempted to obviously just use everything natively. But again, some features are more green than others, and so it's our objective to address those features as early as possible to help you understand the pain points. And so that it's successful for you, just like Neil Parkhurst was the one who addressed the pain points for Unified Service Desk and made it a lot easier to implement. And likewise, same for all the other features. Marketing, again, has been something that's been evolving and growing and maturing. And I've been using it on multiple implementations. Yes, so it's essentially you do have to weigh up products with one on the other, and I can't really say one is better than the other. There are other products out there as well. Are many other marketing products that integrate into Dynamics, which you could use. So it says Frank Peters mentions interesting about obviously click dimensions and Dynamics marketing. What results you achieved in delivery? How easy are follow-up trigger based on all the smaller marketing activities? Okay, Frank. Well, basically, when it comes to triggers, what I can say is that the customer journey experience, when you're building the customer journeys and you're building out your triggers, this is where it's not so straightforward. You have to apply, you have to understand and know what's happening with the way customer journeys are built, because a trigger is essentially you have your customer segments which contain your data, your demographic candidates, contact that are being queried. And then they will be pulled into they'll be consumed by your customer journeys. There are multiple triggers that you can have, such as different types of events, whether it's an interaction with an email, clicking on a link inside of an email. There may be other types of events that you may want to have apart from interactions with emails. There may be time delays. There may be workflow interactions and things like that. So when it comes to the native stuff of email interactions, well, you get that with inside of Dynamics Marketing, and obviously you get that within Click Dimensions. It's when you've got the other interactions, the other channels, where it gets a bit more complicated. And so that's fundamentally what we need to understand here now is, okay, well, what other interactions are you looking to capture within your marketing interactions? And that's fundamentally that's the questions that we need to answer, really. So we do have another event coming up, Sales and Marketing Saturday, where we will be doing deep dives in these scenarios. So often it's the case where you want to have a website you want to capture the website integrations, the website interactions, in addition to email interactions, for example. How do you do that? Things like that, which will be very useful to address. I think Frank and the other people would be interested in knowing how to better integrate that into the marketing app. And there are, like I said, features in the marketing app that support that, and application insights that can be configured to help you track user persona interactions with other interfaces in addition to emails. It says here also the settings part in marketing I walked through. Okay, yeah. So you want to understand that all the settings features. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We can definitely do that. Does imported data store? Oh, CDS or Azure Data Lake. Very good question. This is an interesting fact. So when Microsoft re-architected the marketing solution, basically what they did is that they kept only certain data within inside of CDS and kept the rest outside within Azure. So essentially, all the insight data, the data on telemetry and insights within inside of your email interactions, all of that is not stored within inside of Dynamics, inside of the CDS. It's stored outside in Azure. So that's pulled, and you can capture the insights through the Dynamics Marketing app. It pulls through the insights using Azure Data Lake and blob storage to retrieve that data for you, but it's not stored within CDS. The only stuff that you're going to get stored within CDS is your entities, such as your segment entities, your customer journey entities, and things of that nature. But the actual insight data that takes place the interactions are not stored within inside CDS. That's an interesting argument because for click dimensions, it is stored within inside CDS. And for other third-party products, it is stored within inside a CDS, but not with Dynamics Marketing. So it's very interesting. It is very interesting. Obviously, Microsoft want you to save your space on CDS, and so they don't want you to be pulling that data through in your CDS. But what they have done is that the flow, what Microsoft are trying to do is improve their flow capabilities, so you don't have to consume flow to perform triggers. So that's where Microsoft are trying to position and improve the data storage capabilities. It says here, Angus is saying Click is very data heavy, and as you need retention policies, that is a downside. Another good point. Yeah. So there's positives and negatives to storing data within inside of the CDS. Microsoft's approach is not to do that, whereas everyone else's approach is to do that. And I guess the reason why they did do it, although it does consume so much data, is because it becomes a bit easier to report on and to automate events once it is within inside a CDS. But then it just get bloated, and again, as you mentioned, Angus, the retention policies. So yes, so again, marketing I think marketing we can cover. I think it'd be dangerous to say we're covering a complete marketing experience just with Dynamics Marketing. I think we need to look beyond and cater for web analytics and social media as well. And I think we definitely need to factor that in and cover that in our Sales and Marketing Saturday event. So anyway, we're getting close to Ashish's session on sales insights. So Ashish, without further ado, Ashish, are you ready?
Yeah, pretty good.
Fantastic, Ashish. So Ashish, I'm just going to, if you could share your screen with us all.
Sure.
And it's a bit hard to find Ashish on LinkedIn. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. Sorry, there you go. You got the screen now. Fantastic. Can everybody see Ashish's screen now? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Everyone can see. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, great. I'm just going to post Ashish's link. I actually found it hard to find him on LinkedIn. So I'm going to post it on LinkedIn on the chat. And so let me do that for you.
Thank you.
Okay. There we are. Okay. So Ashish, yes. So please feel free. Oh, sorry, one more question. Where can we find more about the API limit changes? Oh my word. So yes, Frank, look, there are lots of API changes taking place right now. What I will do personally, I will try and collect that information for you. So please connect with me, Frank, but I'll definitely get that information out. It has a massive impact on the way we build our applications. And it's not just the API limits, it's flows as well. But thank you, Sabrish, for sharing the docs link for the API limits. I do believe we need a little deep dive around that and some best practices around that. To answer your question, Sriram, this event is also being streamed to YouTube, so you can also view this event via YouTube. Although we're not using the chat feature on YouTube, you can view it, and you can even watch it later on YouTube if you wish. But yes, so without further ado, I will hand it over to Ashish to introduce yourself, Ashish.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Raj. Right, I can